Hi, welcome back. You're watching Michelle with Michelle's Life. Today is my TBR check-in number 2 for October, as well as my currently reading. Let's check in really quick and see what books I had planned on reading this month and how well I did with that. So in the first TBR check-in, I talked about Witch's Pyre by Josephine Angelini, Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel, I'm pretty sure was the author's name, Behold the Dreamers by Mbola Mwembe, and I also talked about Mr. Penumbra's, which I did not continue. I wound up DNFing that one. In this one, I want to talk about Homegoing by Jessie. This book is a debut release by the author. It is her first published novel, and it was released this year in 2016. I buddy read this book with Michelle from her channel Mishmash, and we really enjoyed Homegoing, and just the discussions that were brought up were really great, and it was really, I definitely recommend reading this book at the same time as someone else so that you can discuss it. It's just, there's so much there that you can't hold on to it all, you know, like you have to have an outlet and someone to talk to about the book because there's just so much. I think it's such an important read, and it's heartbreaking but informative and just overall really important. Jessie's writing reminded me of Isabel Allande's writing, though I'm pretty sure she's Chilean. I thought the writing was phenomenal. I really enjoyed the magical realism elements that were throughout this book and the way that each character was tied to the previous generation. So if you don't know about Homegoing, which I don't know where you've been because it's been all over BookTube, but Homegoing is a story of two stepsisters and just how the generations are impacted by the mother of these two daughters, and then how it just runs through their family generation after generation after generation. So we start off with the mother, and she has the two children, and they grow up into very different lives. One becomes a slave trader's wife and one becomes a slave, and then we get to see their lives in each chapter. So one chapter is from the first daughter's perspective, and then the next is from the other daughters, and then the next chapter is this daughter's child's perspective, and then the following chapter is this daughter's child's perspective, and then it just continues to climb down the family tree that way. And it was just really interesting. The whole time I was reading it, I was waiting for the generations to meet and cross, and I thought that definitely helped drive the story. Each generation had their own troubles and tribulations. I wound up giving it a 4.5 out of 5 stars just because some of it was really hard for me to read. The next book that I read and finished was actually an audiobook, so I listened to and finished, and that was Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire. It's a very fast read. I think the book itself is about 300 pages. This one also has circulated around a little bit, but a quick synopsis is that Every Heart a Doorway is about all of the children that come back from alternate worlds such as like Narnia, and they are trying to reacclimate into the real world. And so a lot of the parents don't know what to do. They don't believe them. They think that they were kidnapped or brainwashed, or that they've been going through this traumatic mental struggle. So they drop them off at this boarding school, but this boarding school knows about these alternate worlds and these doors that have opened for these children, and they're there to help them and provide sanctuary in a way. In this book, our main protagonist is an asexual character, so I thought that was really great. We also have they didn't come out and say that he was a trans character, but they did say that he had gender dysmorphia. So it was a diverse read, and I really enjoyed that. I thought that it was a really interesting and unique story to tell. I mean, you never hear about what happens when they come back, you know, the whole time they're traveling, they're like, we want to come back, and then what happens? Like, what happens when Dorothy comes back from Oz? Did she really enjoy the black and white Kansas when she came back? Probably not. So it's just about them coping and dealing with who they are, what makes them special, and I really enjoyed all of the metaphorical writing that went into this book. It was just really great, and I definitely feel that if you enjoy Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, that had like the same similar vibes. So if you enjoyed Miss Peregrine's or you didn't, I still recommend you read this book because I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I can't wait to own it. It's currently, or it was on Book Outlet for a while for like $5, so I definitely recommend you pick it up. Next, I picked up, it's a library book, so it's gonna be shiny, Written and Read by Anne Bishop. I was buddy reading this with Amanda Larson. She has a YouTube channel, I'll link it down below. And I've seen this one around BookTube as well, and oh, it's so good, guys. So this is I guess a paranormal fantasy, but it is about our main protagonist, Meg Corvin, and she is a blood prophet. So when you cut her, she sees you know, prophecies, as well as like getting a euphoric high from it. But there are she was raised in like captivity under not the best circumstances, and so she escapes. And in the world there are 2 classes of beings. There are the others, such as werewolves and vampires and like owl and like bird type shapeshifters, and they're really unique creatures though. Like the vampires don't actually suck your blood, they can just touch you and pull out the blood if they want to. And then there's the humans, and they usually have a barrier separating the 2 classes, and they've had various wars throughout the years. Anyway, she runs, and as a human, she runs and finds a job as the liaison for the others, just handling their mail and delivering packages, because if you work or you live and reside on the other's property, then you don't have to follow human law. So they cannot come and take her, the people who are after her. They can't pull any like fake police stunts to take her or anything. So she is safe. But how safe are you surrounded by the others? And it's so good so far. So far I'm about like 200 pages in, but I do plan to continue reading this week, and I'm really enjoying it. The other thing that I plan to read this week is As I Descended by Robin Talley. I've read like 28 pages into it, and I'm really enjoying it so far. The beginning starts off with a Ouija board scene, and that's a little cliche just because I've read that in a couple of books now. I think Layer of Dreams has it. There's another series that started with a Ouija board too, but I do like the characters. You start off with a female-female relationship already developed in this book, as well as a MM relationship too. So this book is definitely features a diverse cast. If you don't know anything about it, it is a Macbeth retelling featuring a female-female romance in a boarding school. And I think Maria, the main character, is also Spanish, though written by Robin Talley, but it's still considered own voices because it's a female-female romance. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've heard really great things from a lot of people that I also agree with usually, so I know I'm gonna love it. So as soon as I finish Written and Read, I will be blazing through this one this week as well. And then lastly, for my currently reading list, I am reading Giant Days. This is volume 3. It just recently came out. I picked it up from my library. I love the library system because I didn't want to pay the $15 for it. So I will be reading this as well. This is about 3 girls who become college roommates and become really great friends, though they are all very different females. We have one lesbian character who's like nerdy and kind of weird, and then we have the outgoing crazy goth girl, and then the other one is like the tomboy of the group. I really enjoy this series, and I'm really looking forward to continuing and seeing what these ladies are doing in this issue. The other 2 volumes I've given 5 out of 5 stars, so I have high expectations. So that's it for this TBR check-in and currently reading. I figured, you know, do something different. Let me know down below what your favorite book of the month has been and what you are anticipating reading this week, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!